Well, we're down to about a fourth of the cast, so the end is in sight.
How remarkably balanced. Like, at first, we got all the guys, and then it was just a giant string of girls, but now, somehow, there's 2 guys and 2 girls left.
Giant string of girls and journeys into the storage closet. Hajime, I have to take a shit! Let's go into the storage closet. What kind of horrible activity are you planning in there? As your teacher, I won't let you.
This time, I'm rooting for the rabbit. What the heck was that? Speaking of horrible activities, we're the Bittersweet Gamers, and that's Billy's fault. I'm the opinionator. Oh my god. You heard it here first, folks. You know exactly what Billy likes to do in storage closets.
There's nothing weird about taking a dump in a closet. Now that I've put it in your head, it'll never go away.
Oh god. Please deliver me from this world. I no longer wish to live here.
What?
Okay.
Oh goody, who's it gonna be?
I can't wait to find out.
Come on, come on, come on! 30%!
When you speak of taking a dump, Nekomaru comes. We're all so happy.
There comes a time when a man knows he's gotta go. If I don't go now, it would shame me as a man. Shitting my pants would totally shame me as a man!
Now, Nekomaru has been the butt of our jokes for a long time. The butt of our jokes.
I'm so proud. I foresee this is going to be a crappy episode.
Let's just get started. Forgive me, everyone! That's right, BSG. Highbrow interests, scintillating analysis, and poop jokes.
We're very cultured.
What have we become? I don't know, but someone needs to kill me. Oh, please kill me. So we did 2 of Nekomaru's FTEs very early.
Well, we did one very early and then one after he became a robot.
Fair point. Especially in the beginning, we really liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do like the guy. I think it's funny how he's such a miscast. He talks about being a manager, and we were assuming that was actually going to lead him to have so many useful skills, and maybe it even does, because he actually is extremely good at being a manager, but all he wanted to do while he was here was fight, and fight.
And poop. You can't forget that.
I didn't bring this up.
Damon, when are we ever going to have an opportunity, nay, an obligation, to make as many poop jokes as we want?
If I answer that question, it's like I'm endorsing it. Unfortunately, it seemed like Nekomaru, I mean, especially after the Mechamaru thing, it just seemed like he actually became a joke. And that was kind of frustrating. Yeah, that's right. I remember in that second FTE, he was like, wow, Hajime, you've totally got the basis to be an amazing athlete like me! And, starts doing, like, buff man poses. Gotcha! That's where we are!
Emitting soda and tea from his eyes. It's very promising that you actually want to spend some quality time with me. Well, now that that's decided, let's deepen our friendship. Oh no. I spent time today talking to Nekomaru about, various things. Okay, I guess it's nothing sinister at all.
Why do we have so many man's nuts? Speaking of men's nuts, hey Nekomaru, I hear you like coconuts.
Oh, goody. What? This is something that's everywhere on this island. Why am I being so excited? Why do you have this common item found everywhere on this island? No questions.
I think there's something you're missing here.
My friend, you have my gratitude from the bottom of my heart.
For giving you this thing that is everywhere that you just acknowledged was everywhere.
Yep, That's right.
You're kind of easy, aren't you?
Hey, Nekomaru. I gotta be honest with you. I don't really understand, but why do you like coconuts so much? No worries. Everyone likes coconuts. It's like that at first.
I don't like coconuts.
Everyone likes coconuts.
Yes, sir. I will change my opinion right away. I love me some fresh coconuts. You know why Nekomaru likes coconuts?
Why does he like coconuts?
Because if you drink too much coconut milk directly from the coconut, guess what happens? You're gonna go take a blank, and it rhymes with pump.
Oh, you're gonna take a lump. You don't have to be scared. I'm not going to hurt you much. Come on, lay down over there.
Ah, he's going to give Hajime a massage.
Oh, but is he going to do it?
Of course he's going to do it. Don't you know? It feels amazing when two guys have a massage.
Poop joke! Hold on! What are you talking about?
I have no idea!
I'm talking about it, obviously. Weren't you paying attention to those two loudmouths? You do want me to do it, do you? Right? No! I don't want to do it with you. I just wanted to ask you what you do as a team manager. Oh, that's what it was. Ha, ha, ha. You should have said so earlier. You didn't let me.
Neither did we!
Let's see, basically I manage teams. Thank you for that obvious input. It's my job to take care of athletes so they can give it their all. The technique varies for each sport, but every top athlete needs 3 essential things. Hard work, guts, and protein.
Seems legit.
Physical fitness, visual acuity, and willpower.
Physical fitness and willpower sort of fit into those 3 that you just said, but I don't know about visual acuity.
I kind of feel like that would be important for an athlete. Hand-eye coordination, you know?
Of course. What I was saying is that visual acuity is neither guts, hard work, nor protein, though it's not actually not connected to protein.
If an athlete wishes to strengthen these 3 essentials, then it's my job to prepare a solid and effective training regimen for them. A lot of the science behind the training is based off principles of sports medicine, which David is probably about to go into. Come on, don't leave me hanging.
Well, since I have been summoned, I can do naught but respond in the spirit which it was requested. What's interesting about sports medicine is it's actually more results-based than...
Theory-based?
Yes. Sports medicine practitioners, although of course there are plenty of derpy and dumb ones, just like everything else, they're actually more likely to try unusual things, and instead of stick to a particular theory, if it does not actually work, then they will go to other theories. There's a lot of N=1 personal experience that goes on with sports medicine and different types of like bodybuilding training that I think, although I'm not involved with any of it because I'm a schlubbo, their drive to track every micronutrient in their diet, to refuse to believe that something they are told is true unless they have determined if it is true for themselves or not, and the fine-tuned way in which they are able to push the body to its extreme limits, and in fact the extreme limits of medicine itself. What I mean by that last part, well, okay, I think all this is really fascinating, and so I have a lot of respect for them. They know more about gaining muscle, gaining stamina, and muscular recovery than doctors do. They have vastly more experience with it. That's not meant to put down doctors. That's
right.
That's meant to actually talk up bodybuilding. Now, bodybuilding is not sports medicine, but there's a lot of overlap. Like, you're going to use the same principles depending on what you specialize in, and when it comes to building your body for sports...
Athletes do build their bodies, just not in the exact same way a bodybuilder does.
Right.
It's a real challenge to bring out the maximum potential of each individual athlete. Oh. What? You look surprised. No, it's nothing. I'm certainly not surprised that a guy as gruff and rough as you actually is smart and knows what he's talking about.
We assumed that from the very beginning that Nekomaru had to actually be extremely skilled if he was the ultimate team manager. Like, skilled and knowledgeable.
Yeah. He gave such a serious answer. I don't really know what to say. However, what I told you just now is simply what every manager does.
But Nekomaru is the ultimate manager.
My special weapon is these fingers. Hokuto Shinken!
Ore wa mou shindeiru.
What's up with your fingers? With the tips of these fingers, I can instantly relax tense muscles and promote maximum blood circulation by channeling my lightning brows through them. I call it IT.
That really is Hokuto Shinken, isn't it?
I can push out intravenous toxins like a waterfall.
Like a waterfall?
And restore fatigue in an instant. As long as they're in my hands, each of my athletes can continue with their training and competitions.
So he really is just a martial artist with basic team manager skills. And he's...
That's right! Even until they die!
He just has special massage powers. And maybe he can shoot lightning bolts from his fingertips. We haven't made that gag in a while.
This is it! Truly, this original massage technique is my ultimate weapon.
Can you make heads explode too?
Would you like to see me try?
I think instead I'll just believe that the answer is yes.
Ultimate weapon? So he was referring to it as it in order to censor it? But isn't it dangerous to keep training when your body is exhausted?
Well, not if you're carefully supervised by someone who really knows what they're doing.
Let me tell you about the man-way method.
Ah, the man-way method.
You push yourself past your limits until you're completely exhausted, and you start your training from that point. From a state of zero energy and zero stamina. Your mind can't get in your body's way, and from there you will discover new power you never knew you had.
Yeah, Hajime! Eat some man-way method! Thanks, Instructor Neidhart!
Since you're not the one standing on the battlefield, it's understandable that you would think like that. For some people, forfeiting in the middle of a match is a greater loss than death.
I would agree with that. You can take an honorable loss in a competition, but you can't just run away.
Ah, that really does kind of explain his final confrontation with Gundam a little, doesn't it?
Yeah? Of course it does. I don't know. I feel like we didn't really talk about that much, but that's because I guess I kind of implicitly understood it.
Me too. But since we're doing his FTE, I feel like it was important to bring it up.
It's very much like a sports anime battle shonen mindset, and it is very masculine, and it does make sense.
During my training, I even met a clan of warrior women in the mountains who had such feudal tendencies. They were called the Ogami clan.
No, I don't think it was them. Did they have a snake motif and shoot you with funny arrows?
Ah, how nostalgic.
It was them!
Like you said, it may be a world that I don't really understand. But at least now, I understand how important you are to your athletes.
Why was he playing around with Amazons? What does that have to do with sports? Or managing?
Don't question my methods! Give me another coconut! Hey, Hajime. You know just what to say to put me in a good mood. Can't you tell from the scowl on my face? How about I give you a super version of it right now? No, thank you! Afterwards, though he kept getting a little too close to my personal space,
Oi!
I spent time with Nekomaru for a bit. Hey, Hajime, I hear you have a bunch of man's nuts. Leave me alone! We got an achievement.
He wants the Hope's Peak ring, does he?
Hajime, you've given me this ring. I feel like a delicate flower.
What?
I feel like a delicate flower! He looks like he's deep in thought. I hope he's not thinking about anything dangerous. I've decided. It might be easier to talk to you about it since you aren't an athlete.
Are we finally going to get to something more serious?
It may run a little long, but can you listen to my story? Yeah, I don't mind.
そうか。
I see.
It is true that we know literally nothing about his background. I kind of feel like it's not necessary for someone like Nekomaru, though.
Yeah. Do you remember what you asked me before about why I'm a team manager?
In all seriousness, we really don't know anything at all about whatever darkness he has in his heart that would lead him to become ultimate despair. Like, nothing whatsoever. It has been suggested by some that his resolute and competitive desire to stand against Gundam was that darkness, but I strongly reject that.
Yeah.
That's not darkness. That is a competitive warrior spirit.
Right.
Warrior ethos.
That's not a negative thing.
Right. What you just said, that's not a negative thing. Despair is something that takes your power. Despair is something that weakens you. If you follow that warrior ethos and have like that strong competitive spirit, such as someone who is a fighter or, say, manages athletes who compete in team sports. That is a source of strength. It gives you strength. It gives you power. It gives you resolve. That cannot be despair. I understand that Nekomaru was like, yeah, and I'm gonna kill you if that's where this whole fight thing is going. No, I get that, okay? But at least the way that I took that was the same sort of trash talk
Yeah.
that Gundam was doing.
Right.
And for that matter, the same type of trash talk that two guys who were about to fight would talk.
Exactly.
So, are we going to find out that darkness? Or no?
The darkness is in my bowels.
No! Okay, one more thing.
About my bowels?
No! It could be said that we have misinterpreted.
The car driving by.
That we have misinterpreted Nekomaru's stance in that encounter. But we have to see evidence of that before we could accept that.
Right.
We don't need to see evidence of him behaving in a competitive, masculine fashion.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
The correct way to take it is the competitive, masculine fashion, unless we get evidence otherwise.
Yeah.
Because that's how Nekomaru acts.
At the time, I didn't know how passionate you were about it.
だがな。
A long time ago, I asked myself that very same question. Huh? To be honest, I was born with a heart defect.
Huh.
The doctor told me I would only live to be 20 at most, and even though I look like I'm in my 20s...
Oh, so he's like Theodore Roosevelt.
Huh?
Theodore Roosevelt was born with horrific asthma and was a weakling in his childhood. And his father basically said, Teddy, you are going to die if you cannot overcome this. You will not be a man if you cannot overcome this. And so Teddy Roosevelt said, okay, I'm going to overcome it, and became like a boxer and a champion athlete.
Oh! I mean, I always liked Teddy Roosevelt, but I didn't know that about him.
I don't actually like Teddy Roosevelt, but personally, he's very fascinating. Now, that doesn't mean he got over his asthma. You almost can't do that. It's not like he got better, but he learned how to push through it.
That's pretty impressive. Because of that, I never got to play sports when I was growing up. I didn't even participate in PE either.
Huh. This is exactly what we were wondering about.
I didn't know you went through something like that. I can't imagine that happening to you now.
まったく。
I was teased a lot when I was young, too. They called me Sparky Brows and things like that. My childhood consisted of being unable to make friends and frequent trips to the hospital. However, on one particular day, I was put in the same room as this boy by coincidence, and it completely changed my life. Like me, that boy had a similar illness. He made frequent trips to the hospital, too. But there was one key difference between that boy and me. Someone always came to visit him. He would have fun conversations, and sometimes very serious ones.
I see.
Ah.
So he was, in actuality, a very lonely guy.
From what I could overhear, the boy was a team manager for a baseball team. His athletes were visiting him.
Ah.
That makes a lot more sense now.
I see, I see.
Then what you said to that boy was...
I
asked him why he would do something like that. At the time, I didn't understand it at all. I mean, he couldn't even play baseball with them. But then, he said this to me. Even though I can't play baseball with them, I can still share their victory and defeat with them. That's what it means to be a team manager. I feel like that should have been Nekomaru's line and not Hajime's.
It could go either way.
You have a duty to support your team, especially if you can't be on the field with them. But, in the end, he died in that hospital without ever seeing his team win.
I see.
Perhaps he worked himself too hard gathering stats for the sake of that important game.
Then how did Nekomaru respond to this? Because the way that you take him is going to come, like, pretty much entirely from this, you know?
This is like the moment. Or maybe he already knew he didn't have much time to begin with. I honestly don't know.
It could have been either one. Probably this one, honestly.
So, I decided to take all the stats he risked his life gathering for the sake of his team. My very first job as a team manager was leading that boy's team to victory.
So he really is like a sports manga character, quite specifically.
That's what I was thinking. Like the sports star meets their fan who's like gravely ill and is like, I really want to see you win this game, Glass Joe, and then that's the one victory he gets.
I don't know what kind of sports manga you've been reading.
After that, I threw myself into various sports. Before I even realized it, my body had become incredibly tough.
So essentially, he did the TR thing. He had the motivation, and he just did it, and ignored his own limits.
Yeah.
Now, the idea of a man with a defective heart ending up being a robot is pretty amusing.
The Wizard of Oz. The Tin Woodsman didn't have a heart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
That is exactly what it is. So Nekomaru is the Tin Man. Quite literally.
More tungsten, really. I'm safe for cooking.
Get your chemistry out of this masculine athletic FTE!
To the point where your body's too tough. But even so, I'm proud of being a team manager. So that's why. But why did you decide to tell me that?
And does he actually have any problem with it? His heart, I mean? Well, he very likely does.
I don't know. I don't really understand it myself, but maybe I just wanted to tell someone. That's the whole point of these things, right?
He was extremely lonely and had no motivation or drive to push forward. He saw someone in the same situation as him, but that someone had everything he wanted, so he became that person.
Yeah.
He was no longer lonely. He was no longer weak, though that wasn't really a motivation for him.
The same way that boy taught me. As long as you have friends who have your back, you'll be able to clear a path to the future without giving up.
And Nekomaru was always extremely supportive. He had the right idea on Nagito, which is beat him up and throw him in the room. But in all seriousness, how many times did he die for Akane?
Right?
That really confused Akane. She had literally no conception of why anyone would die for someone else, because, you know, the concept of death was really important to Akane. With her, she wants to help people avoid it, but she's not going to stop living for someone else.
Right, right.
So when Nekomaru threw himself in front of the bazooka entirely for her sake, she didn't really know what to do about it, but Nekomaru just did it as a matter of course. He didn't make a big deal out of it. He didn't think what he was doing was unusual or strange and didn't make a big deal about it in the future. And I think that is something that is important. It's that same ethos that led Nekomaru to jump in the way of the bazooka for Akane is the same thing that led him to not run away or back down from Gundam's challenge. Like I said, that cannot be despair. If anything, it is the opposite of that.
He was facing down someone who clearly was intending to kill someone else.
Or him. That's fine. There's no difference.
Right. I'm just saying, like, if he ran away from Gundam, then there's no guarantee Gundam wouldn't try and kill someone else.
No, I actually think that's wrong. I think he cannot back down from a challenge to himself. Or rather, he cannot back down from a challenge to himself that is worth meeting. I mean, I'm the same way. If I actually think that it's worth fighting for, I'm not going to back down at all.
Same.
I refuse to think of that as a weakness. And it is hard to learn how to do that. and to gather the courage to be able to do that. And it's not like I always succeed. I know I'm going on and on about this point. It's just I've seen so many people talk about that as the source of Nekomaru's darkness, and I just reject that so wholeheartedly. That there's nothing weak about that. It was so difficult for me to learn to gather my courage and to stand up for myself, to face challenges.
Me as well.
And I refuse to be told that that is a source of darkness and despair.
My life's been better since I've started doing that and not letting people run all over me.
Not be a doormat.
And so, even though Damon already advanced the text, I spent all day talking to Nekomaru about a lot of things. He gave me a lot of valuable advice from his manager's perspective, and it reminded me of just how great he is.
That really did humanize him a lot.
Odd choice of words, considering he becomes an inhuman robot.
You shut up!
Beep burp.
On another note that we didn't really talk about, this is absolutely true, that managers are just as responsible for victories and defeats as all the players. There are different roles in a team, and being part of the team means you are part of the team, and you share in the ups and downs. That's really one of the reasons why we thought that Nekomaru was going to be maybe a more pivotal figure than he actually was.
More of an emotional core than he was?
Well, he was that emotional core, wasn't he?
I feel like other characters filled that role more than I expected him to, is more what I mean.
That's true. I guess basically Chapter 1 dumped on him har so much. Well, anyway, that was something that was important to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating because it's like he wants to actually be the athlete, but he was just so conditioned to not thinking he could be, even though when everyone else looks at him, they're like, why are you not the athlete? Because freaking look at you.
You're a fighting game character.
Yeah, if anything, it is a regret of mine that Nekomaru did not try and unify the team, as it were. Instead, just made robot jokes.
Not that we have anything against that.
Well, again, he was more Frankie the Cyborg than a mobile suit. Do you want this thermometer?
Oh, this is quite an item.
It's a thermometer.
I'll definitely return the favor to your body.
Give me the thermometer back!
Hey, Nekomaru, aren't you scared? You seem very calm, even in this situation. It's like you have this unwavering presence of mind. Well, it's my duty to support my athletes after all.
Like I said, I wish you would have done more of that, but I accept the sentiment which he clearly displayed.
He certainly supported Akane a lot. There's no way a manager should be more concerned than his athletes.
Huh.
I see. You're amazing.
Why does Hajime just say all this stuff like he's not even listening or engaging to Nekomaru?
Because I'm a self-insert character.
Well, that may be true, but this is way more than normal. It feels like he's not actually paying attention to Nekomaru. Just like, oh, wow, you're like
just platitudes?
So cool and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
I'm no good at all. It's like I'm thinking about way too many things. And the more I think about it, I still don't know what to do. All right, I've decided. Huh? Decided what? I don't like the tone of that. From this point on, I will be the official manager for all of you!
I wish you would be!
If we win this match by working together to leave this island, then I'll give it my all to support each and every one of you! Nekomaru! All right! Now that it's decided, let's begin the special training! No matter what, basic physical fitness always comes first. In any situation, you'll need muscles to survive. As long as you're armored with muscles, a bazooka shell is nothing! You won't die so easily!
Well, there's some foreshadowing for you.
Armored with muscles? Is that something you can get in a single day?
No. Although new lifters gain muscle incredibly fast, up to a point.
But I guess it's better to stay active than standing around worrying all day.
I guess another thing you could say about Nekomaru is that, in a sense, he did betray the team trying to win the match to get off the island by sticking with his own individuality in facing Gundam. It still seems like there's something about him that we're not quite getting.
Yeah, there's a lot of these FTEs that are a lot about the character and some that are just more about their talents.
Yeah, we said that with Mahiru as well, where it just seemed to reinforce the basic apparent character or characterization, And Nekomaru's does seem to be like that, with the exception of the information that we got. The only thing I'm really concerned about is, how did he become ultimate despair? Maybe it's because, you know, he really isn't going to be able, his heart really isn't going to be able to hold out. But it's not, but he overcame that loneliness. But I guess he wasn't really that worried about the loneliness. Maybe.
Well, we also can't overlook Junko's persuasive capabilities.
But the only problem with that is that's like saying, so here's what happened. Someone did something that we have no idea what it is, or why it is, or why it was effective, and that's why it worked.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like, is there some secret fear of mortality? Him being heartless isn't because he doesn't act in a way in which he does not have a heart. He does. Like, there could be something about his physical death within the story that's a bit more symbolic of just har, Wizard of Oz. Which, I mean, that's pretty good. The Tin Man with no heart, and they don't really mention the thing about no heart until you find out about it. Like, that's good. But maybe it really is that he's burning bright and knows that he doesn't have much longer. After all,
that could be, yeah.
The person who was his inspiration was doing all of these things too, and just
burned out.
And burned out when he was gonna burn out. And so that's probably it, that Nekomaru knows that his life is limited.
That makes sense.
That's the only thing I can think of, and that would be how Junko could actually get at him.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing all this and you're so great, but you're still just gonna fall over dead, and in the end none of it is gonna matter. Which is BS, but...
Right! Well, the whole thing is BS.
Right. Fear of mortality, but it's not fear of mortality. Like, that doesn't seem to be in his basic personality. That's why maybe that's why he threw his life away, to help someone else, to make it worthwhile.
Got it. If that's what you intend to do, then I'll prepare myself for the worst. So what kind of training should I start with first? Let's see. Based on your current fitness level, run 10 laps around the first island, 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 20 crab walks. Well, I think I can manage to do that. I should be able to do about 40 crab walks.
Yeah.
And after you've done all of that 50 times, do 3 sets of 12-mile-long swimming distance. Distance swimming something, I don't know.
Okay, so it really is the man-way method. Run around the island until you're dead.
And then keep going.
I like how he gives him more endurance training than muscle training. Well, okay, I guess 1,000 push-ups is kind of excessive.
That's clearly impossible! It's my job to make the impossible possible.
Well, I'll tell you what, as soon as you can do that, as soon as you can run 10 laps around the first island, do 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 50 times, and then do, 12 miles of endurance swimming?
Yeah.
Then you'll be in really good physical shape.
Don't worry. Even if you do get worn out, I'll do it to you anytime. In fact, let's do that first to fire things up. No. Come on, get naked and lay down right there. Whoa! Hold on! Why do I have to get naked? Don't worry about it. I just feel like it. That's all.
What?
You just feel like making me get naked? And then, like, Mikan slowly rises up out of a bush. I'll be there to perform first aid.
Okay, this has gotten way out of hand. See, this is what I mean about Nekomaru being a joke.
Come on again.
Jeez, all this talking. You're too noisy. Just shut up and listen to your manager. Hey, wait. Someone save me.
Yeah.
Before I could say anything, Nekomaru's massage had started.
Not that kind of game!
This is... Oh, I kind of understand how this might be addicting.
I don't ever want to hear you talk like that again.
Neither do I.
Ooh.
How is it? Feels good, right? It's amazing! My body feels extremely light, just shoots off into the sky.
Hajime, you sound like Nekomaru!
Right? Thanks to this, you now have a body that can't live without me.
You know, he does say stuff like that.
Well, if he's really lonely.
Yeah, that maybe reflects his actual loneliness that he wants to sort of have.
He wants people to rely on him.
Yeah, it's like a mutual dependence.
Sort of similar to Mikan, but for a different reason.
More positive.
Yeah.
But it's more funny than anything else.
I don't really want to admit that. But it doesn't matter anymore. For some reason, I really feel like working out. Then, let's start the training.
この試合、わしが必ず勝たせてやるからの。
Wait, why is the training fighting? Also, he refers to himself as washi.
I don't know what that means.
Washi is what you use to refer to yourself when you're an old man. You cannot be a teenager and say washi.
Okay.
行くぞ!
Oh! I endured an impossible amount of training while Nekomaru offered me advice. The more I worked out, the more I noticed that something sleeping inside of me was being awakened.
Foreshadowing?
And with that came an optimistic feeling. It's probably because of the strong bond Nekomaru and I formed with each other. We will definitely escape from here. All of us.
We will definite escape!
No, shut up!
Well, when he says things like all of us...
Caught in a rad bromance.
I guess in a lot of ways that's foreshadowing.
Kind of? Yeah. Especially if he does figure out a way to save them all.
Power of life and death?
Excellent.
I feel like there may be something to the mortality thing.
And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. What? I was expecting a fundoshi!
Just tidy whities. Pretty normal. All the other guys have had some type of boxers or boxer briefs, so, you know, we've got to get the last level of men's underwear represented.
Betrayal of expectations.
Military world?
Only the best team managers are allowed to wear them. Every time he goes to a tournament, they check his underwear to make sure that he's wearing military world.
Or to make sure that other people aren't?
I don't know, man.
I'm not even going to engage with this. Oh my god, I can't even believe we went this far. I guess, kind of like Mahiru, there was something that just didn't go all the way, but I do feel like we understand Nekomaru a lot better.
More came out in this than with Mahiru's, that's for sure.
Most definitely. Not fear of mortality, but awareness of mortality, dread of mortality, which is different than fear.
Yeah. And now that we've finally finished Nekomaru's FTE, I can give my voice a break. I'm going to suck down an entire bag of cough drops.
And on that pleasant note, we shall never speak of any of this again.